Hola from the west side. It is me, DC the Purple Diva, and welcome to Not So Random Chat. Happy Wednesday, y'all. The day after the debate, question mark. Now, I know some people did not watch that debate last night, but as I feared, you had people who were kind of defending the behavior of 45 um, and were sticking up for him. And I found that quite odd because these were people of color, but none of them talked about the fact that he did not denounce white supremacy, refused to, so to speak. And I mean, if he did that, that would kind of cut off part of his voter base. So, we don't want to have that. Hey, Matt. It was a Shiznix show. You know, it was crazy. And now we get to look forward to next Tuesday and the vice presidential debate on the 7th. I don't know, y'all. I mean, see, it's hard for those of us who are, we don't fit into the two-party system. We don't really want to vote. We don't really like the fact that we don't have very many choices. We have to choose between um, these two old men. I'm like, sorry, they're almost my dad's age. Okay, it was really cool to me when we had 44 in there. That was the first time that there was ever a president that was in the same, I guess, that was within 10 years of my age. How about that? And I'm older than his wife. It was the first time. We always get these old men who are, at the end. And the fact is that when we're voting, we have to think long term and not short term. And either person, you've got to look at it from this perspective. What is the long term damage that 45 can do if he is reelected? And then on the same token, what damage could Joe Biden do if he is elected as 46? Now, I know he's not a Marxist, like this craziness that's being pandered by 45. It's absolutely ridiculous. Hey, Joy. It's absolutely ridiculous. If we want to talk about Marxist organizations, I know some of you know people don't like me saying this, but I'm going to keep saying it until black people hear me. Black Lives Matter, the organization, is a Marxist organization. It is run by Marxists. And they have Marxist propaganda all over their friggin' website. They are not for black people, not the way you think. They do not stand for the nuclear family. They stand for any kind of black family but a nuclear family, which in essence means they're really not for the black man. They're only for the black man if he is gay or if he is transgender, and he's no longer a man. I'm telling you the truth. Go look on their website. Go read through. It's right there. They're not hiding. They just decided to add their, agenda to the more global cause. For all intents and purposes, it is a alphabet community organization. For all intents and purposes. And it is not promoting the family with a man and a woman. I'm just saying. It's not. And I'm not the only YouTuber who's out here telling you guys this. There's a number of us black YouTubers who are saying this, who are saying the truth. Because we don't want our people to be out there standing in front of this organization and thinking that this organization is really about Black Lives Matter. It's just the name of their organization. That's not really what they're about. Not the way we think they should be. I know. But the thing is that I don't have an issue. I have no issues with the alphabet community whatsoever. I just don't like that this particular group of individuals, who I believe is really there's a white man, at the top of it, and he just wants to belong, and he wants to belong, and this is the issue he wants to belong to. But they're not pushing anything that is going to be helpful for us. They're using our issue to push their agenda. That's the truth. Hey, Marilyn. But the interesting thing about the debate last night, the circus that it was, is that we, those of us who consider ourselves either black or African American, you pick your choice, we were the main topic. It was all about us. It was all about us. Because how basically, these two white men were there to prove that they were for us. So hilarious. But let me just talk about the fact that neither the Democratic Party nor the Republican Party truly represent a vast majority of us. And that is the reason why I think that there is a growing number of people who vote independently. Because, I am not liberal enough for the, Democratic Party, okay? And I'm not conservative enough for the Republican Party. But I believe in family values, but I'm pro-choice. I'm not an anti-abortionist. And I guess I wouldn't be considered a pro-lifer. Let me tell you guys a story. This is a true story, you guys. Okay? This is something that your girl DC did when she was, I think I was maybe a teenager. Yeah, I was a teenager. So you guys know that the organization Right to Life has been around for many, 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 many years. Okay. And it was started, the lady who started, her name is Nellie. I can't remember her last name. Can't remember her last name now. But it was started, and she lived in DC. So me and my friends used to call her because she had a number that you could call her. You know, she was listed. And we would debate her. Literally, this is back in the 70s, you guys, okay? I would get on the phone with this woman and debate her about being a right to lifer and about circumstances. And I was a teenager, but seriously, I was doing that back then. Um, and I think I did it more just to aggravate her, but I think it was also more to find out if she was real about her stance. Um, y'all know I grew up in the Catholic Church, and you know they're big in the right to life game because you know they definitely don't believe in abortion. Safe or otherwise, they don't even believe in it in the case of rape. You know, I don't even know if they make the exception for if the mother's life is in danger. I really don't. Um, but you know, this was basically the stance. I would get on the phone with this woman literally and have like several hour conversations with her about her view. It was, I don't know, what kind of person am I? I was doing this stuff as a teenager. Y'all, I think I've always been a rebel. Now, I wasn't fighting for my own rights. I just, but I knew people, I had friends, you know, that got abortions when they were in high school and later on in college and everything. And I was really asking questions for my friends. I was really asking questions for my friends. And let me just say that this was like the late 70s to the early 80s. And at that time, although abortion was legal, it was still not very, very safe, in my opinion. In my opinion. But yeah, I used to get on the phone and debate. I think her name is Nellie Gray. I want to say her last name is Gray. First name was Nellie. It's the woman who started the organization Right to Life. She was she lived in Washington D.C. and I used to call this woman. Y'all, I'm telling you, this was before the age of the internet. You know, I just looked her up in the phone book, and one of my girlfriends got me to do it because she wanted to know the answers, but she was too afraid to make the phone call. I wasn't, so I did it. Hey Street, hey Supertube, how are you? But like I said, I'm in the middle. And I know that you've got these other parties, like I think you've got what, the Green Party and Libertarian. I think there's another one, but I don't really know if I fit into any of those either. It's too bad that we have to have these two parties because that is not what our founding fathers actually wanted. This is exactly what they did not want. And yet here we are. And what happened last night was crazy. crazy. It's like we're in the, when, it's like that was an SNL skit. It's like that was the skit. That wasn't really a debate. No, that couldn't have been a debate. Now, I do remember that in 2016, 4 years ago, that, Donald was a bit obnoxious in his first debate. But for the most part, he was calm. And maybe he was calmer because he was debating a woman. Um, but I told y'all, he just looked desperate last night. He looked desperate to make people be afraid of Mr. Biden being in office. He kept spewing all these lies. I believe that he was an embarrassment to the Republican Party, as well as an embarrassment to our entire nation. And yet he doesn't see it that way, y'all. He does not see it that way. And neither do these people, that 15% of black people that voted for him and that are I guess, are going to vote for him again. So 15% of the 13% of the population voted for him and plan to vote for him again. I happen to know one of those people. I know several people on YouTube, and everybody has their own reasons. They have their own rationale. But I don't. How can you rationale out this man last night, and him refusing to denounce white supremacy? How can you? How can you accept this man being a bully, and instead of dealing with the candidate, going after the candidate's kids? Hell, that's like a YouTube beef. You know what I'm saying? Like a YouTube beef. I'm not gonna go after you. I'm gonna start talking about your kids. Oh, and I'm talking to dead one too. But this is who is representing our country as the 45th president. And I'm not saying that he's not a good businessman, because apparently he is. Although he's lost as much as he's made. But clearly he does not have our country's best interests. I do not see that. And I'm not saying I see that from Joe Biden, but I see it more. At least he's trying to show us that. I mean, next to him, Joe Biden looked great. And it's because of the way he carried himself. And this is the way that he always carries himself. Clearly, his handlers are not very good at doing their job and reeling this man in. Because he might have lost some folk that weren't going to vote for him. And I'm not talking about the 15% of the 13%. I'm talking about some people who are actually in the Republican Party. Because, I'm sorry, y'all, that just was ridiculous. And if any of you had the chance to look at the comments on Twitter, those were the best. They were the absolute best. There were more today. The Supreme Court. Well, he's about to jam a justice down our throat in 35 days. That's his. He wants it done before the election. Wants it done before the election. Because, you see, he wants the stage to be set for Roe v. Wade to be overturned, whether he's president or not. Hear me on that, okay? Hear me on that one. He's also trying to do whatever he can to dismantle national health care. Right now, he's trying to do all of this. He's trying to do certain things because, I don't know, he's not so confident that he's going to win now. But if he locks up the Supreme Court with a 6-3, it's going to be ugly. It's going to absolutely be ugly. Because this is the last person he put on the Supreme Court, I believe, was Catholic. This woman is also Catholic. And I already told you how the Catholic Church feels about abortion. It's like a mortal sin. And if you're Catholic, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, they have mortal sins. You know, killing the baby, killing your baby is considered a mortal sin. Yeah, it's considered murder. So, that being said, how do you think she's going to be voting? You know, how do you think she will vote if Roe v. Wade comes to the Supreme Court? And it does not even help that, you know, the original woman, Linda Roe, yeah, she is now a born-again, spirit-filled evangelical Christian. And she is totally against abortion, although she herself had one. So, that's an interesting point. For those of you who haven't been following this all these years. Hey, Tutu. Yeah, Biden sounded, he was calm. He let 45 basically jump up and down in the sandbox. You know, I mean, act like we were in high school. I mean, you know, we've never had someone have to call the president a clown, or someone tell a president to will you just please shut up? And yet we heard all of that last night. And we got to wait a whole 2 weeks before we get them in front of us again. But goody for us, we get to see Mike Pence and Kamala Harris next week. And I already told y'all, all kinfolk, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. We definitely, you know, see, here's the thing. People need to think about it. Based on the things that Ms. Harris has done within her law career, she is closer to the theology of the Trump administration based on her past deeds. And she's going to have to come in there and just be so sweet. And she needs to make the state of California, you know, one of those states that has a whole bunch of delegates. Yeah. She needs to make us believe that she has changed. Changed. That's what we need to believe. He is a clown. And it's so sad, Matt. It's so sad that we have to call him that. It's so sad that we even, you know, that even happened. Last night, I you guys know that was just such an embarrassment to our country. It was just such an embarrassment. You know, I mean, I don't know who's going to be ready for the next one. I mean, we're going to need our popcorn, our wine, our you know, all our goodies in front of us, so we can sit and eat and watch it, because I don't see it being better the next time around. You know, I mean, if the man could just stick to the issues, you know, and stop whining about how unfairly he thinks he's been treated and how great he is. He says how great he is. He's the only one who talks about how great he is. You know? No one else is talking about how great he is. And he refuses to take accountability for the handling of COVID-19. He refuses. If he could blame COVID on 44, he would, but he can't. So he blames it on the Chinese. Now, yeah, it might have come over here through people coming in from China. That might be very well true. But the fact of the matter is that once it got here, you didn't do diddly squat. You told us it was nothing. Now, I had enough sense to know you were out of your freaking mind saying that. But you told people not to even worry about it. It's not going to do anything. And you're still going around here now talking this madness in the last week that it's not going to harm children. Yet and still children are getting COVID. Oh, but I guess it doesn't matter if they don't get the more serious kind. But you seem to be fine with COVID just spreading its way around the country. I told you, Marilyn, I told you it was a circus. A 3-ring circus. I mean, I was falling out my chair laughing. I couldn't even take it seriously. That's how bad it was. I couldn't even take it seriously. Yeah, but I think they have, let's see, the next one is going to be the vice presidential one. Then we have one on the 15th again. And then there's another one after that. We have 2 more. They're squeezing them all in. I guess because we were complaining about the fact that there weren't going to be any. because originally I think there was not going to be any debates, and I think that the American people were like, "Are you out of your mind?" And I think that Mr. Trump realized that he better do something. So I guess that was him doing something last night, because all we're doing is talking about him today, not in a good way. But see, in his mind, it doesn't matter how we're talking about him. As long as we are talking about him, because that's the way the narcissistic mind works. And I commend Joe for the most part for being cool Joe, just keeping his cool and just allowing 45 to do what 45 does. Just let him, just let him just, stomp around the stage. Let him get himself all worked up. You know, let him yell and scream, even though this is supposed to be a debate, which means it's a conversation, which means it's really not necessary to do all this yelling and screaming. You know, just because you talk the loudest doesn't mean that what you say is what needs to be heard. Yeah, he stuttered. I know. Hey, Sierra. Yeah, he was stuttering. But as a fellow stutterer, I will say he didn't stutter that much. He did really good on his stuttering, you know. But he did stutter a little bit. I'm glad the man finally admitted that he was a stutterer. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. I don't stutter when I sing, though. And that was one of the things that they did with me when I was a kid. In my speech therapy, they would get me to sing things to help me to sound out so that I would not, you know, like that on words. I would be able to just say them. So, yeah, that's my girl, Sierra. You guys, Sierra has gotten monetized, y'all. She out there, she's out there on the East Coast monetized, doing her beauty videos. Please go check out the Sierra Reed Show. She is popping with personality. Popping with personality. But yeah, we got 4 weeks, y'all. It's 4 weeks. Please vote early. Please do not wait until the last minute. If you live in a state that has voting centers that are open and open weeks ahead of time, go vote. If you don't feel comfortable going to a voting center, take your absentee ballot to the post office directly. Don't put it in a mailbox, and do it and mail it very early. Because most of us know who we're going to vote for. So as soon as you get the mail-in ballot, you should be able to go ahead and vote. There's no reason to wait. They're not going to open up anything until that day. Yeah, Sierra, when they were doing, I forget when they were doing one of the stories on him, they talked about the fact that he had a speech impediment since he was a kid. And I was happy to know that that's what was going on, because I stutter too, and as a stutterer, sometimes like stop yourself so that you don't stutter, and then sometimes you can't help it; it just happens. It happens. But I did have speech therapy, but sometimes I stutter now. That's one of the reasons why I hate public speaking. It's one of the reasons why I don't like speaking in front of people. But see, I can get up on here and speak cammed up or uncammed up, and it's totally different because I'm not in front of on a stage talking in front of a room full of people like that. It's a different feeling. But you still get nerves when you get on here and talk to people on the internet. Because even when I was doing my radio show, I played music, but I had to talk too. And I just did it, I kind of kept it like a really cool vibe. And, it was real like, it was a mellow Sunday vibe that I would have on the show. And, most stations were, playing a lot of gospel music. I just played like a lot of things that you wouldn't necessarily hear on mainstream radio. And during that same time period, because I know they were listening, people from the black-owned station here in LA, KGLH, Stevie Wonder's station, during that time period, they suddenly changed their format to be, about the people and not, just playing anything and they would just play songs. So they started doing the same thing, and they were mainstream radio. But I knew that a few of them listened to us. It was actually a compliment to us. I know you don't hear me stuttering a lot, but I do. When I'm really excited, thank God I don't really stutter when I'm on the internet. But when I'm sitting here, I'm literally keeping myself from doing it. But it's, a thought process. Now it's more of a second nature thing, but sometimes that's out the window. Like if I'm stressed and stuff, yeah. But it's one of the reasons why I hate, getting in front of people and speaking in public. But it's one of the things that I have to do, especially when I'm, kind of advocating for autism. You can't be the mouse in the back of the room. You have to be vocal. So being an autism mom, forces me to be vocal. Yep, I do. It's funny because I had a lisp, braces fix that, and I, was a stutterer. So, it is what it is. But we all, as we get older and everything, like when you go to the speech therapy, at least the speech therapy that I went to, they went over saying words that were harder for me to say. And like, yeah, they had us doing stupid things like seven silly swans swam silently seaward, that kind of stuff. Saying things like that. It works. Unfortunately, it really does. But, like with the speech therapy that they gave to my son, That's a different type of speech therapy that he got with the autism, because his speech therapy was more about helping him to sound out and say words and to get him to use verbal communication versus nonverbal communication. So he did, they would have cards and he would, learn how to say the words properly. And I mean, there's still words. Yeah, he does have a list. And there's still words that my son has a hard time saying because they're tongue twisters. Let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah, but yeah, Chris Brown has a list. There's a there's a couple of entertainers that have a list. But yeah, Chris Brown is one of them. But his isn't that bad. It might have been worse when he was younger, and probably if he got. I mean, he has nice teeth. Don't get me wrong. But if he got some braces to straighten up, those top ones, that might help with that lisp. Because usually the lisp is around, your teeth. Hey, Terry. Of WeGo Health. You know what? Send me information about it on my IG, Sierra, and I definitely will go take a look at it. Yeah, send me the information. I definitely will. Yeah, Fantasia has now she has a bad lisp. Her lisp is bad, but I think she should suck her thumb. But it's gotten better because she did get braces. She did get braces. So, but yeah, but I remember when she was on American Idol, she had that lisp, and then she had this little soft talking voice. But then when that girl opened her mouth to sing, it was a whole nother situation. It was a whole nother situation. I do too. Yeah, I like her too. I think when she went and got I think did she get her a nose job or something? I don't know why these girls go and get their noses done and stuff. It's like, because they think that they don't look good or something. I don't know. I mean, remember Nene Leakes got her nose done too? She don't even look the same. I personally liked her original nose. Wasn't nothing wrong with it. Yeah, she has a beautiful singing voice. But the crazy thing about American Idol is that the majority of them off of that show have never really become like these huge, huge stars. Only ones who got big is Carrie Underwood and Kelly Clarkson. That's it. And then nobody from The Voice. has blown up, and they've had some great ones on there. Not one of them has blown up. The singing business is like so fickle. You think that they get that little bit of help, but when they go on these contest shows and everything, it's really about, you know, how these record companies are promoting them. Now, I'll say that how they did rhythm and flow, they did that differently because they didn't tie D Smoke into a contract. You know, he got the money and he could use it the way he wants. And I mean, man, I'm so proud of him. Oh, like, and he done pulled his mama out there into it and everything. Shoot, I think the way that they did it on rhythm and flow was better because he wasn't tied into a contract and he was able to kind of figure out where he wanted to go, and he got a good deal for him. You know, for how he wanted to do things. And plus, he's like, I'm telling you, everybody in the family, their whole family is musical. From the grandmama, Miss Betty, his grandmama, his mama Jackie, my friend. You know, I mean, she's the one who is the piano player. You know, and that's what she's, you know, she taught him to play piano. Her mama taught her how to play. All her and one of her brothers plays pianos. Her other brother is bass guitarist. Her niece is Tiffany Goucher. That's her niece. Her other son is Sir, and then her oldest son is the R&B singer Devion Ferris. And this is D Smoke's family. It's like, you know, crazy. Tory song. You talking about Tory Lane? You're not talking about Tory Lane, that dude. Are you talking about? Are you talking? Who you talking about? No, they don't push black women the way that they should. Um, it's a See. Here's the thing. It's a very male dominated business, and most of the men that are in the business are not into women. And if they are into women, you know, they like to see how bad you want to do this. They put women through a lot. I mean, they put women and men through a lot of stuff to become superstars. And, you know, although people may not actually be selling their souls to the devil, they are doing things that are like they sold their soul to the devil, because they're doing things that they wouldn't do, you know, but they're doing them so that they can get to that end game. And it works for some of them, and then the rest of them just end up being washed up and gone. So is Tory Lane? Nah, I ain't listening to nothing he did. I haven't. Y'all know I just watched Mudbound. Y'all know I just watched that because I don't like watching stuff that's gonna trigger me. And I already knew that it was gonna trigger me, so I'm like, I don't really want to watch this. I don't really want to watch this. I know it's good. I don't really want to watch this though, but I watched it. Yeah, it was triggering. You know, Mary did a good job in it. I mean, but it really told the story of Mississippi and sharecropping and that generation that was one step from slavery. And it's it's crazy, because my grandmother was born on a plantation. Okay, my mother's mother was born on a plantation. Sure was. So that's how close my family is to, you know what I'm saying, to slavery. I know the last generation of my family that was born on a plantation. And get this, my grandmother could pass. She didn't, but she could. You know, if it had been slavery time when she was born, she would have been in the house doing housekeeping. But it was after slavery. Her father was a minister, as was many a black man down in the South. And she grew up, they were Seventh-day Adventists and Pentecostal. Two extremes. Let me just say that. Two extremes. And then my grandfather, my mother's father, his mother was from the island and spoke French. Yep. She spoke French. And she was dark brown, almost, real dark. And she had long, straight hair that was a little wavy. And she had grown up on the island with servants. So it's like, all extremes. And I'm sure that's what many of other of us had to do. I mean, because think about it. When we're filling out the census, I hope all of you did that because today was the deadline. I hope everyone did that. Filling out the census. They really want to know if you're Hispanic, though. And what's interesting to me is that they separate Puerto Rican and Cuban from the other Latins. And the interesting thing is that if you really look into it, is that the majority of the Black Hispanics are Puerto Rican, are Cubano, Some are Dominican, but see, the Dominicans don't, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story about what they even think that they are. Okay. But when you start to move down into South America, there's less and less because many of the African slaves that were there either left that area and moved north because, they took some of them from down there and brought them here when they ended slavery there. Slicksters. Anyway, I digress. But the majority, there's very little African blood in some of those countries because people, they mixed. They mixed more than we did here. Okay? Yeah. So outside of Brazil, which is Portuguese, you don't have in South America. Now in the islands, yeah. But yeah, so as I said, although Spain and Portugal were heavier, it's concentrated as to where you find Black Hispanic in South America. Like you'll find Colombia, Venezuela, little Honduras, Panama, But if you go to Paraguay, Uruguay, you're gonna be looking. Yeah, clouds are packed. I love it. Don't forget to smash that like, y'all. We about to get off of here in a minute. But I mean, you just have to look at it from that perspective. I mean, we stand out more here because even though we think that we've blended in and we're, moving towards assimilation and everything, we've assimilated less in the United States than in the rest of the ADOS. And I'm talking about the South American part because those who are in the islands, everyone else seems to have more of their culture from Africa that was not stolen from them. It's like when the Spanish and the Portuguese, they didn't force these people to give up their culture, whereas our ancestors were not even allowed to do anything that was from Africa. So think about it from that perspective. I'm going to come on here because I'm about to get off of here, guys, because I have been on here for an hour. Hey, guys. Oh, here comes David, y'all. He's coming. He's coming. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, son. He's like, I'm coming. Here is the almost 25-year-old.
Oh, no.
Say hi.
Hi.
Okay. I love you too.
Me too.
Okay. Y'all know that's his thing. If you've been here before, you know that's his thing. Anyway, I'm about to get out of here. I will be back on tomorrow. Look for my morning hello. I'm trying to do those every day, just come on in the morning to say hi to y'all, even if it's just a quick hi. But I'm trying to do that. And, eventually I'll be able to do a long live. But if I can just do a quick hi and just upload something to y'all, I'm going to do that. But I'm about to get off because I need him to go to bed tonight. He didn't go to bed last night. So guess who didn't go to bed either? All right, you guys, I'm out. Until tomorrow, off you guys. Peace and blessings from the West Side. See you guys. Bye. I'm out.